In today's Lowry manufacturing tutorial, we're going to demonstrate how to assemble the drive head box with reducer and how to set the foot bearing. First, you're going to slide the flight forward in the tube just far enough to get the thrust washer on the shaft. Slide the flight back into place to put the foot bearing on. The foot bearing comes in 3 pieces for easy assembly. The thrust washer is not designed to carry the thrust of the auger and should have a free space of 0.09 to 0.13 between the thrust washer and the foot bearing. Position and attach the drive head box to the tube with the 3/8 by 1 inch bolts and lock nuts for the 8 and 10 inch size augers. For the 12 and 16 inch augers, use the 1/2 inch and the 1 1/4 inch bolts and locks to attach the drive head box. Attach the drive head shaft to the flight using 3/8 by 2 1/2 inch bolts for the 8 inch augers and 7/16 and 3 inch bolts for the 10 inch augers. And lastly, for the 12 inch and 16 inch augers, use the 1/2 inch by 1 1/4 inch bolts and lock nuts to attach the drive head box. Attach the drive shaft to the flight using 3/8 by 2 1/2 inch bolts for the 8 inch augers and the 7/16 by 3 inch bolts for the 10 inch and 5/8 by 4 inch for the 12 to 16 inch augers. Next, you're going to assemble the seals and washer to the adapter. Slide the adapter over the drive shaft and bolts to drive head box using the bolts provided with the adapter. Position key in keyway on the drive shaft. Then slide the reducer over the drive shaft. Next, you're going to position to arrangement needed and bolt to the adapter using bolts provided with the reducer. Assemble the snap ring on wedge and slide onto the drive shaft with taper going into the reducer. Now you're going to position the keeper plate over the snap ring and bolt to the drive shaft. Tighten bolt, which will pull the flight into place. At this time, be sure to check the thrust washer at the foot bearing for proper gap. Add or remove shims on the drive head box as needed to get the desired gap between the thrust washer and the foot bearing. Depending on the reducer position selected, you might need to move the vent plug and oil fill plugs as needed. See page 1 and 2 from the Dodge manual. Next, you're going to take 4 bolts out of the reducer and replace them with 1/2 inch by 1 3/4 inch bolt with serrated flange nuts to secure right and left upright brackets, making sure to use the right holes for the auger size you have. Attach cross bracket to the upright bracket with 1/2 inch and 1 1/4 inch bolt with serrated flange nut. Now you're going to position the motor mount base with slots facing out. Attach the motor mount base to the bracket assembly with 5/8 by 6 inch tap bolt and 5/8 inch hex nuts. Note the position of the 5/8 hex nuts for adjustment. Attach the belt guard backing plate with 3/8 by 1 inch bolt with a flat washer and serrated flange lock nut. Attach 2 brackets to the belt guard backing plate with 5/16 by 3/4 inch bolt with serrated flange lock nut. Make sure the brackets are positioned correctly before attaching. Now you can fill the reducer with the recommended oil level with 80/90 gear oil. Attach the belt guard with 5/16 by 5 1/4 carriage bolt with T-knob. This completes the process of assembling the drive head box with reducer and how to set the foot bearing.